Krasinski with The Athletic. What was the experience in the World Cup like playing for China and just, connecting that way?
Yeah, that was awesome. Like I said, like I love winning, and we didn't do much winning out there, but just like shout out to the staff, the coaches, the players. Like they made me feel so welcome, and the fans were awesome, and just being a part of it was like really special. They didn't. You go to a new team and they kind of look at you funny, or but they didn't have any of that. Like they were super welcoming. They were such great people over there. So it was very fun to be around. So I really meant a lot to me. I thank them from the bottom of my heart for that. And then just being there around, those great teams like Italy, like Dominican Republic, like Serbia, watching all those great guys play together. And, those teams, like, they play together since they're 15, 16 years old. So it's special to watch them still have that chemistry and things like that. And some teams did some really special things, like, watching South Sudan be able to make it to the Olympics. That was awesome. So it was just a really cool experience. Minus the losing, like, I had a great time over there.
I think right when the playoffs ended, there was a lot of people that were concerned about your injury, your eye, and everything, whether, what was going to look like coming back. How do you feel physically that way, and how is everything just on that front as you get ready for the season?
Yeah, I feel fine. I feel back to normal. It's something that I'm just adapting more and more with every day. I'm getting better with it. It was obviously rough, saying like early July and late June, like I'm playing pickup in these small New Jersey gyms, and it's dark and I can't see a thing, but it's gotten a lot better now, and I'm sure in a NBA arena with great lighting, it should be fine.
Mark, Kyle, I know you refer to yourself as a big point guard, but there's been different times in your career where you've been on the starting line, like the 4 or the 3, right? You're playing it with 1 big versus 2 bigs. It seems like this year you will play next to 2 bigs, whereas last year it was 1 big. What, if anything, does that change for you, and how does it impact the 5 overall if you're functionally the 3 versus the 4?
Yeah, I think maybe just a little bit more of a role of handling the ball when there is 2 bigs in there. But I don't think it changes much. I think I'm a guy who can play in any offense in the league and play in any type of style. So I don't think it really changes much being a 3 or 4 or the 1, whatever it is. Like, just go out there, try to make plays, shoot it when I'm open, play the game the right way. So, I think playing with 2 bigs will be a bit of an adjustment. And, I'm going to have to find ways to be effective, and I know I will. But, like I said, it'll take some time, but I'll figure it out.
You kind of did that in Memphis, right? Like there were some years where it was 2 bigs versus 1 big.
Yeah.
Does that experience help?
Yeah, definitely. And in San Antonio as well. Like, I was watching old San Antonio highlights the other day, and I was out there with, LaMarcus and Timmy, or like, David West and David Lee, or so, it's something that I can get adjusted to.
Chris Hine from the Star Tribune. Kyle.
I know all you guys.
They told us to do it. One of the things that we've heard Tim, Finch, and on down the roster is more mature team this season. And from your first year here to this year, what are some of the things that you think this team needs to shore up to become a more mature team? And do you sense that maybe it's a little different this year coming in than maybe last year?
Yeah, I think just looking in the mirror first and foremost, just, kind of just the fact that I got into it with one of my teammates last year is just, that just didn't sit well with me this summer. And, getting 5 technicals last year was just, looking back at it, that's just not who I am. So maybe I could look at it as a rough year, but just looking forward to this year, being a better teammate, not costing my team points with technicals, things like that. That stuff shouldn't happen. And I think as a team, I think we should do a better job of preparing for games and giving ourselves a chance to win, knowing scouting report, knowing guys' tendencies, knowing personnel on the other team. I think in order to be good in this league, you have to give yourself a chance to win by preparing. And I think maybe we could do a better job as a team of that. But I'm really just looking in the mirror this summer and just focusing on how I could be a better teammate, be a better person on the court, and stay positive, not get down on myself, things like that.
in the immediate aftermath of your injury, were there some scary moments for you in terms of the recovery from it, or kind of what was that process like? Maybe the first few weeks that.
I had to be, strong for my family. Really, I think everybody in my family was kind of spooked, and I didn't want to show them that I was spooked. But it was definitely tough. Like, I was kind of hearing that, like, I don't know if I'd be able to play again and things like that. And once I went out to UCLA and seen Dr. Steven Schwartz, and the first thing he told me is, like, you'll be fine, you'll be able to play again. And shout out to him. He, like, brought me a lot of comfort, and from then on, I knew I'd be okay. But, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared or nervous, 4, 5, 6 days after, the injury.
Kyle, I will introduce myself. I'm Phil Mackey from Score North. I feel like everyone kind of digested the playoffs once Denver won the championship and kind of looked back at the 2 months and said, Timberwolves might have given them their best series of all the opponents. Now that you've had some time to reflect on it and get away from the disappointment, how close do you think you guys are when you're playing the way that you played at the end of that Denver series? How could you be a team that makes a surprise run? I say surprise according to the national perception.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think if you look at a lot of our losses last year, they were, and no offense to these teams, they're great teams and they're building, but 2 to Charlotte, 2 to Detroit, 2 to Washington, those are all winnable games. If we win half of those games, maybe we're a 5, 6 seed, 4 seed maybe. So I think we had a chance to do something very special last year. So to be able to get our guys, a lot of our guys back for this year, we're in a position to do some very special things. And we don't do moral victories, but we did put up a good fight against Denver, and we're just taking all of this into the next season, and it's going to fuel us to be what we are this season.
Kyle, what did you learn last season about playing with Ant, and what's maybe the next step for him in your eyes?
I played against him in a playoff series the season before, so I knew he was a killer. I knew he was really talented, and I think his next step is just being an all-star starter, MVP type of player. He has the talent. He puts in the work. He's right there. So. I think that's coming within the next year or two, or whenever it does, I won't be surprised.
Speaking of Ant, how did you feel when he said he wanted number 5 this summer and wearing number 1 today?
That crushed me. No, I have no problem giving it to Ant or any of my teammates. Honestly, I mean it's just a number, but it's the number that I would have wanted and I've wore since I was a kid. But he deserves it, and he always said that he was getting it, and they let me know from day one that he's getting it when his time comes, so I'm fine with it. But I missed that number 5, though, huh? I'm still working that out.
I guess Brett Robson, Min Post. Last year, the record was a little disappointing and the expectations were higher. But personally, in terms of your role and development and relationship with the coach and everything, things couldn't have broken better in many respects. You want to be a point guard, and Finchie had an enormous amount of confidence, and you said many times you saved the season. Now you got Kat coming back healthy. You've got Mike in from day one. Are you kind of mentally getting ready for the idea that you're not going to have the leeway that you had just in terms of the opportunities to do what you love to do?
I know that's on the table, but I'm mentally getting ready for anything. I mean, I don't want anyone to get injured, knock on wood, but that's part of what happens on a long 82-game season. So it could come a point where I'm back to that position and back to that role, which I obviously enjoy, having the ball in my hands a little bit more. But shout out to Coach Finchie, for him to trust me with the ball in my hands and to make decisions. I get asked a lot if I miss playing in Memphis, and obviously I miss my guys over there, but to come to play for Minnesota and play for Finchie, who trusts me making decisions and allows me to, play my game and things like that, that's very special. So, I enjoy it, and I'm getting mentally ready for whatever, whether it's, bench minutes or if I have to step back into the starting lineup, whatever it is, I'm ready to do.
Just with the point guard position, I think
Mhm.
But in other ways, it seems like you guys got a ton of guys.
Yeah.
that initiate offense.
Mhm.
How do you see that kind of playing out over the course of the year with different people initiating offense?
Yeah, I think, like I just said with Allen, I think Finchy lays out an offense for us that's very interchangeable. And if Ant was to bring, I think Ant, Jaden, Mike, myself, Jordan, Nikhil, Nas, Cat, the list goes on of who can start the offense. Some guys off the rebound, some guys off the outlet pass. So, I don't think we're really worried about that. If you look around the league, like, these guys are really good, but they're not really like pure point guards. There are not that many pure point guards that are in the league. They're in basketball. You watch college too. So I think the game's kind of going away from that, and I think any one of us can start the offense and bring the ball over court and facilitate things and things like that.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.